Can you all hear me? Let me know that first. Can you all hear me? Quite important. Okay. Okay. So let's gather the markers. Again, I'll start at the 4-minute mark, so you have a chance to come in now. So let me see how I can do this the best way. Okay. I'll do it like this. Okay. For the first time in a while, I charged my tablet, so I'll look on my tablet also. So hold on, let me check my tablet immediately. Hold on. Just had a big update, so that's why it's lingering a little bit. Hold on. Let me check how many minutes I'm in. Oh, I still have around 2 minutes to go. Okay. I'm going to check the live chat soon, so be patient with me. Be patient. So, okay. I hope there's enough daylight. Yes, there's enough daylight here so you can see me clearly. Again, I start at the 4-minute mark so people can still walk in. Please let me know in the live chat when you're here also. I just charged this wireless earphones, so that's good. Well, some reason this tablet is slow, but it will work. Yeah. Can you hear? Let me know the live chat, please. Thank you very much. Okay. Finally, I made a live chat, so let me check it out. Just B is here. Thanks, Jeff here. PVP is here. Suzanne is here. Joanne is here. Mark is here. Danielle is here. Tammy is here. Clem is here. Les is here. Grace is here. Good. Glad to have you all here. Now let me move this. Let me see if I'm at 4 minutes already. Oh, just an half minute more. Thanks for the 5 thumbs ups. Hold on. Why is this thing so fake? Hold on. Yes, okay, it's restored. Sometimes I need to check it out so that it's not too fake. Okay, that's good. So let me check. It's already at 4 minutes. Yes, class has begun. So today's topic is called gravitational movements. All right? Let me put this over here. Now, let me just write it down for you in big letters. Gravitational. No, let me do it differently. Gravitational movements. All right. Now, as you see here, I wrote gravitational in blue and movements in red. I have a purpose for that because we are familiar with movement or movements, but we are often not familiar with how the spirit world relates to movements. And a movement doesn't have to be a big movement so much like feminism or MGTOW or whatever. It could also be a small movement locally. So How does the spirit world relate to movements in daily life? That's what we're going to talk about today. Well, actually, this live stream. And so, the first thing I want you to understand are the following concepts over here. First thing is the concept of desire, intention, and collaboration. My handwriting is readable over here, hold on. Collaboration. And between this you have imitation. Okay? And then you have attraction. Then you have the escalation. Hold on. Escalation. And these two is manifestation. All right. Can you all see this over here? Let me know the live chat, please. Desire and intention together is the imitation. You have collaboration and attraction and escalation combined is manifestation. Can you all see this clearly? Let me know the live chat. Hold on, why is this thing so fake? Okay. No, it's not fake, just on my screen it appears fake, but okay. You can all see it, which is good. Now, it's quite simple. Human beings are mimetic creatures. That means we are shaped by the communities we grew up in. We're shaped by our environment. So, imitation is the way we develop. Important to understand. That's human nature, it's how God the Father designed us. We imitate our parents, we imitate the people around us. And as children, when we grow up, we're also going to imitate one another. So imitation is our nature. All right? That's how we shape identities, we shape cultures, and we shape meaning in life. Imitation. Now, in imitation, you have two key elements, desire and intention. The intention is the focus of the imitation. And the desire is the, how should I say it? Is the motivation to continue. So let me give an example to you. Let's say you have a farming community, okay, a community with farmers. They all ride horses or donkeys, and they're all familiar with the stench of feces and all of that because they have to work with animals. So they are familiar with carcasses of animals. Sometimes animals die. So you have a farming community. And in that farming community, you have one guy that rides in on a white horse, just imported from mainland Spain. And this white horse from the region of Andalusia is his horse is relatively tall and it's more muscular than the horses over there. Now, this guy that came in with this horse just imported from Spain, he just operates there somewhere. He becomes the model people perceive. So he's the model because he has this good called this horse. Now, the people there are familiar with horses. They are. So him coming with this white horse, it's just the color is different. There are also white horse or gray horse over there, so it's not really a big deal. But because this horse is imported from Spain, it's kind of an anomaly. So the model often presents an anomaly, something that's unusual over there. Again, the community has horses. They do. Hold on. The community has horses. They have hundreds of horses. okay? But now this horse comes from mainland Spain, and that area used to be colonized by Spain in the past. So still, though the colonization, horses from Spain are still considered of high quality. So yet this guy arrived with a horse from Spain, and now people see it. The guy is the model. Now other men in the community think, this horse is from Spain. And indeed, the horse is better managed than the horse we have over here. So that horse now becomes a prize. Okay? And what does this represent? People perceive this man with the white horse having an advantage they don't have. So they see the advantage. And now because they see the advantage, they're now motivated to want a similar thing. So now they also want horses that are imported from Spain. Alright? So that's the desire. The desire is the consistent motivation to get a certain outcome. So again, desire is the consistent motivation to get a specific outcome. In this case, they want also horses imported from Spain. Now, the intention is they don't want to miss out. That's it. Because they already have horses over there, hundreds of them. So why, and riding a horse is riding a horse. So there's nothing special about the horse imported from Spain. There is nothing special about it. But because of their cultural background and colonial history, they're shaped into thinking that things from mainland Spain have some type of high quality with them. So the intention is they don't want to be left out, they want to participate. Okay? And in a healthy setting, the people now also begin to inform about how we can get horses from Spain. Now, if there are many horses being imported into, let's say, Colombia, then it's not a problem because you have a big huge supply of what you're craving. So if the supply is high, then there's no problem. This can just continue. But what if the supply is low? Now you have contention. People are not fighting to get a horse from Spain. So, and you have negative gravitational movements. I'm first going to explain a positive version. So we'll use this example. So let's say all these people now, the people in the community, also want a horse from Spain. They see that guy as a model. Now you have a collaboration. Now the public is in agreement. Okay, let me write this down. That means that the public is in agreement. What are they in agreement of? To emulate the model. Okay? So when there's collaboration, now on an energetic level, there's this energy density that arrives. And this energy density causes attraction on the spirit level, which leads to an escalation of people wanting to be part of this gravitational pull. So that's a positive gravitational movement. All right? And to explain it further, let's say it like this. Okay? Here you have one guy over here. The guy's the energy field, and now you have let's have a few other guys over here, also the energy field. Just going to draw it quickly for you. These two men over here, you see this guy as the model. He has an outcome they crave. Now, both these men now develop a focus to be like the model. So both of their focus go to the same thing. And those both emissions get centered around the same object. And when the two focus of the both men center around the same object, this becomes a centrifugal point. That means that now there is a bond, an energetic bond surrounding the goal. And the moment is combined with desire and intention. Now you have more people joining it because this gravitational point becomes bigger and bigger. So it's going to attract more people in it. is similar to a vortex. It attracts more people. So the desire in this case to get a Spanish horse has generated an energetic whirlwind of desire in the community. Now, this is the attraction. More people suddenly get in line with it. And this is the escalation because more people keep participating, and then you have the manifestation that happens. That is a positive gravitational movement. But what if the supply is low? Let's say there's no import anymore between Spain and Colombia for that season. Now, the same thing happens, but in a negative frequency. So now you have collaboration, but the agreement is negative. Now you have envy and jealousy. And that's also going to attract people in the same way, but this time it's going to be heavy. Let me show that to you. So this is a positive one. Let's say now, gravitational force, you have a lot of people now in it, and it's negative, and because negative, it's heavy. And because it's heavy, it's dense. And this now becomes a heavy yoke on the population. And what happens when a heavy yoke takes place? A discharge happens by putting the centrifugal whirlwind onto the selected victim. Now, so this is positive, and this, of course, is negative. Okay? So, let me take this out a little bit. Now, what you see here is that a gravitational movement is when human beings establish an energy point outside of themselves, and they now, with their emissions from the energy fields, they establish a power point. So, okay, I'm going to erase this over here. You can check it out later, because I need to illustrate this better for you. And then I'm going to ask you to tell me if you get it. So, let's see. Where's the black stift that I just used? Well, anyway, I'll just use other stifts then. So, okay, this is one guy, okay, with his energy fields, and he has emissions from his energy fields. There's another guy, also energy field with emissions. But if both focus on one point, their emissions come together. And because of masculine, this becomes a heavy dot, okay? Now, after a few minutes, this is resolved. But if they remain focused together on the same thing, this becomes heavy and heavier. And because it's heavy, it generates what they call gravity. The gravity is just a pull towards the energy dot that's just been generated. Now, the same thing can happen when it comes to negativity, okay? So, let's say, again, let me just draw it down here. For you guys to see it, so you have two guys over here. They both have an energy field. But instead of a positive intention, now the negative focuses on one thing over here and have a heavy dot. So negative emissions. This here is also a pull of gravity. So, you get it ready. The more people join this common focus, heavy becomes, if it's negative, it's going to become a negativity vortex, already explained in one of my other live streams. Now, this is how a gravitational movement begins collectively. Now, can a gravitational movement also happen on an individual level? Yes, it can. But before I go there, do you understand this over here? Let me know, please, in the live chat. Go and check it out. Ah, that's where the black stiff is. So let me check the light check to see if you get this. Hold on. Good. Okay. Now, what you need to understand about gravity. So I'm going to erase this over. I'm going to erase this over here. You can replay this in the replay because this is already clear. How it works on the collective level. So now we're going to the individual level. And let's do it like this. So again, most of you talk about the female example, so stay with me. So you have a guy over here. Here's his energy field. And let's say now that he is angry or upset. Okay? That's a low flow. Okay? Because anger, bitterness, resentment, those such emotions are a low frequency. So let's say now he has this low frequency in his energy field. And let's say now he meditates on this. The more he meditates on it, the more his energy field becomes polluted with this low frequency. And then, because he is now negatively charged, this heaviness begins to pull. This is a pull. It's pulling our negativity towards him. So let's say here you have another guy who's also negatively charged. He suddenly will feel a gravitational push towards this individual. That's how, for example, let's say you are you're walking down the street, and there you see this guy who's he looks quite angry. He's not really aggressive, but looks quite angry. If you are in a positive charge, you feel a disconnect immediately, and you keep on walking. But if you are in a negative charge also, the familiarity of both you being on low frequency, that is a click that happens. And that click means that the heaviness of this guy pulls you towards that guy. Because you shouldn't be on low frequency anyway. Now the same can happen to women. Okay? So, okay, let me draw it over here. Hold on. This is a female, small energy field. If she is negatively charged and she's dense in it, the heaviness of low frequency, that is that's generated this pull towards her. Pull. The danger here is that with a woman you likely are also putting yourself at risk because you will also attract negative men towards you who has other ideas. So this also is a risk factor. So negative thinking and being negatively charged is especially dangerous for females. Now, in practice, men are more physically dense. So let's say a guy walks down the street, very pissed off, very angry. And then you have another guy that begins to keep looking at him. The other guy also negative charge. Then the other guy thinks, what are you looking at, man? And the other guy thinks, oh, no, I don't want to fight. I just walk away. So that can happen. But if a female walks around in a negative charge, she put on makeup, she looks nice, all of that. Let's say you have a guy, let's say a rapist who walks around, and he now feels his click towards this woman. While the woman is in a negative flow, and he's in a negative flow. Now, his negative flow is different than hers, but it's still a negative flow. So that guy feels a click immediately towards the female in a negative flow. And because the woman's also in negative flow, she can't perceive properly what's going on. So she will not even notice that, there's someone following me, or this guy approached me, but he's a bit pushy or whatever. Because being a negative charge also affects you physically. So the physical consequence is your body responses get a bit slower. Your cognitive abilities become slower. So you're not able to recognize danger quickly. So if you normally would notice something wrong in just a quarter of a second, now it takes 2 or 3 seconds you notice it. It's not an enormous slowdown, but it slows down your cognitive abilities a little bit. So being negatively charged is quite dangerous. And the negative charge is heavy, so it pulls other negativity. And here's the thing, men are magnetic. So when men are negatively charged, it attracts negativity swiftly, because men are magnetic. That's how the Heavenly Father created men. Women are not magnetic. The thing is that negativity, the negative charge itself is heavy, and the heaviness of negativity has a pulling effect. So negativity in itself has a pulling effect to attract other negativity, whether you're male or female. But in men, it's accelerated because men are magnetic to begin with. So that is why we are told in the New Testament, don't go to sleep angry. If you're upset about something that happened that day, process that day what happened, and then let it go and go to sleep. Don't go to sleep angry. Because when you go to sleep and you have this negative charge in you, the next day you wake up, your body has been slowed down because of it. And then the next day, you are in a loop of negativity, and that's how you attract more bad people towards you. And because your cognitive abilities have been slowed down, you're more likely to encounter accidents. Let's say you're crossing the road. Look to the right, you look to the left, to the right, to the left, and cross the road. Well, in some countries, the other way around. But you look around you. Look there, then cross the road. But if you're in a negative charge, the negative charge in your energy field has slowed you down, so you don't respond cognitively, you don't respond properly. Similar to when you are on alcohol or you're on drugs. So now, normally you would notice that there's a car coming. But now you only saw the road, you didn't see the car coming, because your cognitive abilities have been slowed down. So now you cross the road, you almost enter into accident. You get me? Now, so being negatively charged is quite dangerous. And negative charges can also affect your digestive system, can also affect your nervous system, so that's not a good place to be. So, in the world, people look for a discharge when they're negatively charged. Either they meditate the charge on someone else. For example, let's say this guy thinks, I can't stand Kevin. Let's say this is Joe, and Joe can't stand Kevin. So, Joe now meditates the anger towards Kevin. Now, sooner or later, because he's negatively focused on Kevin, the negative charge inside of him goes towards Kevin, and it affects Kevin's energy, Kevin's environment. Now, this is a psychic attack, because it's psychic anger that's been transmitted to someone else. Now, and because it's negative energy, it takes a while before it arrives. So it doesn't just arrive immediately, within a few seconds, unless Kevin is close to Joe. So if Kevin is all the way in New Zealand and Joe is in Scotland, then it may take, well, maybe a half hour or 1 hour or two before the negative shocks arrive at Kevin. But if Kevin is, let's say Joe is in Glasgow and Kevin is in Edinburgh in Scotland, that's relatively close, so it may happen then just a minute or 2 or 3. You get me? So negative flows travel slowly. It's a slow flow. All right? So negativity travels. Now, let's check the live chat for a moment. So, that's how it goes in the negative. And I'm showing you this first because this is why we need to walk in forgiveness. This is why we should let go of anger and resentment. This is why our expectations should be correct. Because if you have wrong expectations, that means you're easily upset because your expectations are wrong. If you're easily upset, or you're easily angry, or you're easily pissed off or dumb, or become disinterested, it is because your expectations are incorrect. And when you are in a loop of negativity, it goes downwards and downwards. And look at this. Joe now is also vulnerable to the psychic anger of other people. So Joe now is in danger. And he's now endangering others too. So this is just for you to know. Now, this is how it goes in the negative, okay, on an individual basis. And if multiple people dislike Kevin, so multiple people have a dislike or hatred towards Kevin, now Kevin develops a whole dark cloud around him. It's going to weigh down on him. That's why you have multiple people meditating negativity on Kevin. So understand the following. Aversion, I'll say aversion, which is dislike, hatred, and all of that. Aversion is actually emotional resistance. When you dislike someone or when you hate someone, you have emotional resistance. This emotional resistance is aversion, and aversion is a negative charge. This negative charge damages your own energy field and also damages your own body over time. And when you meditate this outside, you're extending the harm to someone else, naming the target that you don't like or you can't stand the individual. So look at this. When you are in aversion towards anyone or anything, you are now vulnerable to be exploited and harmed by other negatively charged people. So maybe Joe can't stand Kevin. He doesn't like Kevin. But this dislike towards Kevin puts him at risk of being robbed in the streets. Because let's say Joe is walking in the streets and he has his wallet in his trousers. He walks down the streets. Now, the pickpockets, the thieves on the street are negatively charged. They just want money. They're frustrated. Let's say Joe passes by and Joe, he has this negative charge in him towards Kevin. Now, this negative charge in Joe towards Kevin is actually attracting other negative charge, because negative charge is negative charge, okay? So the thieves now, who are negatively charged, desperate for money, now they experience a click with Joe walking on the streets. And then the thieves begin to walk after Joe. And before you know it, they jump on Joe and rob Joe. Here's the thing, those thieves could have jumped on anyone else. But the thieves had no click with those other people. Because they had a click with Joe, because Joe was in the negative, that's why they could easily jump on Joe. So by Joe having aversion towards Kevin, he now became vulnerable to be victimized by others in negative charge. So there is no such thing as having aversion towards anyone or anything and not pay the cost for it, namely put yourself at risk. It doesn't exist. So you don't have the right to dislike and hate other people. You don't. Because you're putting yourself and others at risk. So before I continue, is this about aversion clear to you? I want to know if this is clear. Okay. So that is why, and I want to direct this to the ladies amongst us first. Sisters in Christ, female believers, listen to me. When another woman is negatively charged and you feel it, don't engage thinking, I can comfort her as a fellow female and it will be better. No. If she is negatively charged, she must face she's negatively charged, and she should let the charge go, and then it dissolves over time. Because once you're negatively charged, it will take a while for the charge is dissolved from inside of you. To get charged negatively happens in a few seconds, but to lose it takes a while, sometimes even weeks. So, if a female is negatively charged, other females, especially female believers, shouldn't think, let's do the Christian thing by cheering her up or whatever. She must be willing to face she's negatively charged. And to you guys also, if a female is all by herself most of the time, and you feel this heaviness around her, only approach her if the Holy Spirit allows you. Because she has become a time bomb. Because remember, especially for women, a negative charge is dangerous. Because women are more, the female bodies are relatively more fragile than male bodies. So a negative charge affects her worse than a man. Even though a man is more likely to attract more danger because he's magnetic, for females it's also dangerous. So also for the ones involved with the female, it's dangerous if she's negatively charged. Realize this. Alright? So, understand this. This is a gravitational movement. When you're negatively charged, it becomes like you become the energy, the heavy point that will attract other heaviness. So what happens in the world is, whenever in a community a lot of people are negatively charged, people focus on one specific victim. Mentally and psychically, they focus on one victim and they all met with anger about the victim. And the victim now is wounded because of the psychic attack. If the victim is wounded by the psychic attack, the energy field is wounded. So if the victim does not realize that they are wounded, the wound becomes bigger and bigger, and the wound now becomes the heavy point that attracts all the negative tension of other people. And here's the thing, if you're stressed out, or if you're filled with worry, or you're filled with anger, anxiety, or you're fed up, or you're disinterested, you're just not with all of that, people can easily victimize you. So if you're negatively charged, for example, you constantly Kevin, and that means that the whole, let's say Joe is in a community filled with angry people. Let's say at a football stadium or somewhere at the mall. Joe has issues against Kevin, but the issue against Kevin is a negative charge in him. If all the people around him begin to dump their anger on him, then he now becomes the scapegoat and he ends up dying quickly. So aversion is always a bad idea, always. I'm not telling you to hug everyone and to be intimately involved with everyone, but never develop aversion, that means dislike, hate towards anyone or anything. For example, some people say, Dr. Sheet, what about bad evil? You should hate evil, but you should hate sin, right? When the Bible says God hates sin, it simply says that God has such a preference for righteousness that he doesn't even consider sin as anything worthwhile. That's the quote-unquote hatred, it's the Hebraic speech. So in Hebraic language, when you hate something, you actually prefer something else far more than that thing. So because you prefer that other thing so much, it is as if you neglected this one thing over here. For example, let's say a man has 5 children, and he puts so much attention to his eldest son. So much attention he forgets his other children too. Now, that is obviously emotional neglect towards other children. So that's what we perceive as hatred, because it's neglect. Now, when it says God hates sin, it means God is so invested in righteousness that sin will be sin for what it really is, a pathetic attempt for compensation. So we should never have aversion at all. We shouldn't have aversion towards sin, towards evil, not towards crimes. We shouldn't have any aversion at all, because aversion puts you in negative charge. And when you are in negative charge, that's when demons have a grip over you. So, when you hate evil, your dislike and hatred of evil makes it relevant. And here's the thing, you make evil relevant at your own expense. Let's say now that Joe is upset with Kevin. Kevin is a child molester. Let's say Kevin is a child molester who molests children. Now Kevin is absolutely wicked because he's molesting children. Absolutely, Kevin is out of his mind and Kevin should be dealt with. But if Joe develops aversion towards Kevin because he's a child molester, okay, molesting children is wrong. We should agree, no, we don't want that. It's low. But the moment Joe generates psychic anger towards Kevin because Kevin molesting children, it's true. Kevin is molesting children. It's true Kevin is guilty. But by Joe hating the evil Kevin is doing, Joe is not contributing to the same evil because he is sponsoring it by charging the negativity towards Kevin. And here's the thing, Kevin is already charged negatively because he's molesting children. So if you begin to hate Kevin or dislike Kevin, your negative focus is energizing negativity is already there. So you're donating negativity towards Kevin who's already in the negative. You're actually sponsoring the evil Kevin is operating in. So hating evil, hating sin, hating the bad is not a good idea. Absolutely not. Yes, public media or mainstream media must also be negatively charged all the time, so demons have a grip upon us. So, what do? Let's say Joe finds out Kevin is molesting children. Joe becomes upset, thinking, what the heck is Kevin doing? And that becoming upset becomes a motivation to do something about it. So either Joe calls the police, or Joe sends repercussions on Kevin, Joe does something about it, and it's over. But the moment Joe links around in anger against what he's doing to the children, Joe is now negatively charged, and now Joe can be victimized by other people also. So he's in danger, and he's contributing already, because Kevin is already a center point of negativity. Or see like this, let's say there's a fire burning, okay? There's a fire burning right over here. And you pick up gasoline or oil and you throw it on it. Is the oil or gasoline thrown on fire going to quench the fire? No, it will not. It will only cause an explosion. And that happens when you have aversion towards something that you consider wrong. Your aversion may make you feel good, saying, hey, I'm righteous because I can't stand that. Or I have values, or I have morals, I have ethics, I'm not like this individual. You are now perpetrating negativity in earth realm to prove a point. So that's wrong, absolutely. That is absolutely wrong. Sin is just this compulsion for compensation because you operate out of lack. The only way you get rid of sin is by outgrowing sin, by operating in abundance. So you can't fight sin nor overcome sin. By fighting sin, overcoming sin, you're focused on lack. And when you meditate on lack, you charge that negatively. So you can't fight sin nor overcome sin. That is nonsense. You outgrow it by operating in abundance. That's why we're taught to be renewed in our mind. We're not taught to fight the old mind, we're taught to be renewed in our minds. Alright? So, it's good for you to understand this. Now, so this is how it relates to aversion. Now I'm going to explain gravitational movement when it relates to attraction. Okay, hold on. Let me remove all of this. Okay. So if you have issues against someone, let go now and process it right now. Repent, because you keep yourself and others in danger. And you have no right to keep yourself and others in danger. You don't. So, let's go to attraction now, okay? I'm going to use a female example now. Let's say this is Sarah. Okay, let me draw a female quite quickly. Okay, this is Sarah, small energy field. And let's say now that Sarah craves attention or psychic income. Okay? She now generates this desire and to be seen and to be heard. And she dresses a certain way, she walks a certain way, so she's not emitting this longing to be seen around. Now, a woman is not magnetic, she's not. Okay? So how does it work in a female? Okay? It goes like this. The desire to be seen, or for psychic income, is a natural desire created by the Heavenly Father. So this desire to be seen will trigger a magnetic response in the men around. Let's say there's a guy over here, there's this energy field, and the signal that she's sending out suddenly triggers a pull towards her direction. Now she's not magnetic, she only triggers the magnetic nature of the men around. So it can be, let's say this is, which name did I use again? Let's say this is Sarah, and this is John, okay? John can be at the gas station, putting gas in his car. He just put the gas in his car, and suddenly he feels like he needs to look to his left. He thinks, why they're going, he feels like he looks to his left, like someone is poking to look towards the left. He looks towards the left and he sees Sarah standing there in her mobile phone. And now Joe is married, so Joe thinks, oh, okay. She stands there in a mobile phone, dressed in a provoking way. Oh, okay, whatever. However, Joe still experiences the magnetic push to look in a certain direction. He didn't know why. A female is not magnetic. She can only trigger a magnetic response in males. Men, at the other hand, are magnetic, and men can actually be the pull factor in themselves. That's how their father designed it. That's the difference between male and female that men don't acknowledge. Women are not magnetic. Men are. Women trigger magnetic responses in men, or magnetic reactions. Men are magnetic by default. Is this clear to you? Let me know the live chat. All right? So, how does it go with the male? Okay? Let me explain that over here. So, this vows to trigger magnetic reaction or response. Okay? That's how it works with females. Let's say you have a guy over here. Let me draw it quickly. Let's say this is John. And John longs to see his wife. He has been at work for all day and he longs to see his wife. So he generates this intense sexual longing towards his wife. That goes into the earth realm. Okay? Now, the sexual longing is not towards all females, but especially towards his wife. Okay? Now, he and his wife are connected on an energetic level, so the wife here at home picks it up, and she feels warm, as if John is right there. Even John can be a kilometer or two away at work. Now, the other females around, who are not his wife, also pick up this sexual longing. They'll feel elated. And they may think, who's this guy? They may begin to question, begin to look at John and all of that. Here's the thing, John is not into all these other films around, it's his own thing of his wife. But here's the thing, the intense sexual drive that John is meditating on, it is a magnet in itself that pulls feminine energy fields towards it. There are other men there who can feel that this guy has power, but the men are not affected by it because they're men. Okay? So, in this case, the man is magnetic in itself, and he becomes the centrifugal point that brings a movement towards him. Remember what I said earlier, if a man is negatively charged, it will attract danger immediately. He will get in danger quickly. But if he's in a positive, it will also have a response. So as a man, you always get a response based on your state of mind and the reaction. It always happens. You don't even have to open your mouth and speak. A female, on the other hand, can send out triggers, and the triggers can come back. That's how it works with female. The man, however, is a centrifugal point in himself when it comes to gravitational movements. All right? And this knowledge is the knowledge that pimps use when they're out there recruiting women for prostitution. For example, you can have a guy who's a pimp, he goes down in the streets, and he uses his inner radar as a compass. So he generates, through his imagination and his meditation, he generates this sexual excitement within his energy fields. Quite heavy sexual excitement, and he walks down the street. Now, women that are wounded will pick up this sexual vibe quickly, much quicker than women who are healthy. Because women who are wounded and broken, they have lack in the energy field. So especially if they didn't have a proper father figure, or if they just had to break up, or they just came out of divorce, they are extra sensitive to it. The lover boy or the pimp then notices certain women that because the lover boy also have a negative mindset, he also feels a link directly with women who are wounded. So you have a pimp entering a mall, for example, and he walks around with his intense sexual desire, but at the same time his mind is in the negative because he wants to exploit women. So the women around who are wounded and fractured, not only will they pick up this sexual attraction, they will also pick up a link with the negativity of that guy. And that's how those women end up being quote-unquote attracted to the bad guy. And they don't realize how they ended up in that situation they were taken advantage of. Now this is the knowledge that pimps and lover boys misuse. Well, I just explained it to you. So what can you do about this? If you're a woman and you just came out of a rough time, or you're a bit stressed out, or you have father issues, whatever, anytime you feel this instant click towards another man, or this instant pull, this comfort around another man, step back, look at the guy and ask yourself what's going on. Just do that. That alone will hinder the magnetic pull. All right? So now you ask yourself, what if a man feels a magnetic pull towards a woman? That cannot happen. A push simply means you're triggered to look around or to move a certain direction. A pull is that you feel like your body is being drawn somewhere. It's as if your mind can't focus on anything else, that you have to go somewhere. That's a magnetic pull. No woman is magnetic, so no woman can have a magnetic pull at all. So what happens often is the following. Let's say, okay, let me remove this one off here. Let's say now, okay, this is a female, okay? Let me draw it quickly. It's a female with her energy field, and she's negatively charged on the inside, okay? Demons get comfortable in this sphere of negativity. Now the demons hate females, but it's negative charge. Okay? Sometimes the demons will, let's see if I have it with me. Hold on. Demons now will eat the negative emissions, and as a result, from their being, they'll emit a type of excrement. You get me? And there are times demons smear this excrement on the top of the energy field of the woman. And this demon excrement functions in a magnetic way because demons are men. You get me? So demons eat negativity that comes from the woman, and them as a being emits this excrement because in the heavens, the angelic beings, they intake the joy of the Heavenly Father, and their being as light beings generates intense glory and brightness. That's how the light beings in heaven operate. But in a fallen state, the fallen angels or demonic spirits, they now eat the negative emissions from a human being and they generate this excrement out of them, this stinking, filthy excrement. And that's what they often smear on top of the woman. So what happens now, this demonic excrement has a pulling effect towards them, a magnetic effect. So you as a guy, or even as a woman, let's say you're a guy, you can stand here, and suddenly feel like a strong knockout towards a female. Like she's magnetic, and when you look at her, it seems like her skin, everything is glowing, like she's glowing kind of. And you think, whoa. Why is that I feel like I have to, like I don't have any choice anymore? That's a demonic excrement operating in a magnetic way. So it's not the female that you sense, it's a demonic excrement on top of her. And the demons are around too. So this is a demonic attraction right over here. The same you can have, let's say you're a female and you're a bit fractured and you have this female around with this demonic excrement on top of her energy fields. You can feel a sudden attraction towards this female. It may not be sexual in the beginning, but if this happens over and over again, it can turn into sodomy also. So that's why witches and women who are negatively charged, they have a similar impact in their community, because both witches as well as women who are negatively charged have this demonic excrement upon them. Now the witch has it on purpose, but the woman negatively charged just has it by quote unquote association by the demons around her. So this is a demonic attraction. Can men also have a demonic attraction if they're in an active state of mind? Absolutely. But men are magnetic anyway, so demons don't have to generate any excrement on top of them. If a man is negative, he can generate his own demonic attraction as a man, if he's in a negative state of mind. He doesn't need demons to do it. But women, because they're not magnetic, they need the demons to generate this excrement of their energy field for them to have a magnetic effect, which a woman should have at all. All right. So, is this all clear to you? Let me know in the live chat, please. All right. And here's the thing. I'm talking to the men now. Men, the Heavenly Father designed your body as an instrument for glory. So anytime you encounter a female that's charged like this, your body will oppose her. And this is why society promotes going to clubs, getting drunk, and then to have one-night stands, all of that. Or to go to parties, to take drugs, and then find a woman to have sex with. Why is that? Because look at this. Your body as a man takes up dangerous vibrations. Let's say now there's a woman walking by, and you feel this magnetic pull, this smack that you have to be there. Do you think, what the heck is this? Now, this is a warning signal. But society tells you, hey, you're in love. She's your twin flame. She's the one. When you get closer to her, it is as if you can't talk. You become so shy. When you try to talk to her, it's as if you become retarded, like you can't speak. You can't move. What's going on? Your body senses danger, and your body goes to a shutdown because of the danger it experiences. So this is nothing to do with you being shy or whatever. This is a warning signal to get away from her. But in the world, they tell you, no, you need to overcome those symptoms. And the best way to overcome them is to get a drink. Drink some heavy spirit, some vodka or whatever, or drink a lot of beer, or get some smoke. They teach in the world to numb the symptoms that you feel physically. And once you do that, and you push your body, you can get close to her, but you'll regret it. Either you'll get an STD, or she ends up being this narcissistic bitch that follows you around and causes trouble, or you find out later that she's cheating on her husband, and you think, oh my God, I'm involved in this. Or she makes a false rape charge on you, and now that ruins your reputation, you end up in prison, where you were actually raped by fellow inmates, even though you didn't do anything wrong. So your body as a man functions just like God designed it. So men out here do not ignore the physical symptoms. And that's why they invented things like Viagra. Now you know why they have things like Viagra. Because listen, if a female is dangerous, as a sexual being, as a man, your body shuts down around her. So your cock will not get hard around her because your body wants to keep you safe. If you go against your body by drinking a lot and all of that, or taking Viagra pills, all of that, you can force your cock to be hard anyway, but the intercourse will cost you your life, likely. So, your word. So, teach this to your sons. When your body says no to a woman, go with your body. Don't go with what you see or what society is telling you. Go with what your body hints towards you. Your body cannot lie. Your body is always right. Your body is always right. And the same counts for women too. With women, it tends to happen in a different way. With women, sometimes it happens that you feel this enormous sexual urge out of the blue. This that you can't control this sexual urge. It seems like you're falling apart if you don't give in to this sexual urge. If you feel this as a woman, that's a dangerous situation. Beware. Let me see if this is working well. Okay, it works well. So, that's why places like clubs, bars, or church, sometimes even churches, or football stadiums. There's nothing wrong with the football stadium. You go to the football stadium and watch a football game, there's nothing wrong with that. But often those places are negatively charged, and that's why the negative charges end up in physical decay. That people end up fighting one another, people end up shooting one another, all of that. So beware of those things. Okay, Joanna had a question, a very good one. What about a man that's projecting his uncomfortable sexual predatory energy towards females? Okay, it goes like this. Okay, let me show that towards you. To show that to you, hold on. Here it is. So, let's say this is one guy, okay? Let's say this is a sex predator, okay? His energy field is completely fractured, okay? And he has a predatory view towards females. And let's say now here you have a female believer. No, let me do this well. You have this female believer that walks by faith. She operates in a high frequency of love. A high frequency of love, okay? He operates in this low field of negativity. God is negatively charged. Operates in this low field. This is what happens. When he gets close to her, means the female walks by faith, her frequency of faith, or frequency of love, overrules his low field of negativity. And this overruling is so intense that he'll get frightened. So, when a male sex predator encounters a woman that walks by faith, or an unbelieving woman that operates in femininity, the unbelieving female has her positive frequency is a bit lower than one of a female believer. This non-believer, this believer. What happens is that the healthy femininity of the female unbeliever, or the intense, or the highlighted femininity of the female believer, scares him off. So let's say, for example, Joanna is walking to work, and you have this sex predator projecting his filthy predation somewhere. He may see Joanna walking around thinking, okay, that's a good catch. While he's walking in the direction of Joanna, he begins to feel uncomfortable. He begins to walk slower. He gets tired thinking, ooh. And before you know it, he thinks, oh my God, something's wrong with this woman. When Joanna looks in his direction, he feels shocked. Why? The frequency of love overturns his filthy frequency. So this already blocks him from getting physically close. So the answer against sexual harassment and sexual predation as a female is not to be angry against rape or angry against rapists or to have this feminist attitude against men, because all of that keep you negatively charged. And remember, ladies, this guy's in negativity. So if you're negatively charged somewhere, there's a link, there's a click that happens. You don't want that. So remain in your healthy femininity, and this guy, eventually, he gets upset with you. He'll try to get you upset, but when that doesn't work, he'll feel so humiliated, he'll just run away. That's how it goes. Okay? So, what if now you have let's say now you have a female who is negatively charged, okay? Let's do one over here. She's negatively charged, okay? He already has a magnetic impact as a man, and a woman is negatively charged. Because she's negatively charged, her energy field is fractured, so she will be almost defenseless against his pull. She won't even notice he's getting close, because her body doesn't even give her proper warning signals because she's negatively charged. So with her, it's a match. That's why sex predators don't harass nor attack every woman. There can be 1,000 women walking around, all in sexy outfits. And there's one woman wearing a jeans, and the sex predator gets so excited about the woman in the jeans, because the woman in the jeans is negatively charged. All the 1,000 other women walking around in sexy outfits are in their femininity. So it's not going to be a match. So as a female, you have to prevent a match. So you have to keep your mindset pure. All right? So that's why feminism is quite dangerous for women. You know why? Because feminism generates a victim mentality into females, seeing all men as potential predators. And this disconnects with their own feminine nature, because as a female, you're designed to get psychic income from the men in the community. The men in the community are meant to manage you in daily life. That's having thoughts on as a woman, you contribute to the community by keeping the community going, but masculine management is something that for designed and intended for females. That's why you have this inherent insecurity as a female, which is meant to be filled by masculine management. I'm not talking about all men having sex with you. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just having energetic and emotional management. That's natural. Now, if you as a woman resist your own feminine nature, what feminists often do, you get negatively charged. And when you're negatively charged, if you're negatively charged, let me explain this to you. If you're negatively charged as a woman, and let's say here you have a good guy, a guy with Operation Positivity, okay? Hold on. Let's say here you have a good guy with good sexual strength. When his high frequency comes towards you, but you're negatively charged, that's what happens. You are going to feel intimidated because his high positive frequency totally messes up your negative flow. And because your negative flow is completely messed up, you feel intimidated by this guy who's actually a good guy. So having a feminist or anti-male attitude, or having a aversion in general as a female, it makes you dysfunctional that you don't recognize healthy males. And what happens is, you now have a match with predators. And that's why you have women telling you, oh, I always fall for the bad guy. I always fall for thoughts. Always when I have a man, it will be some guy who treats me like shit. You begin to think, why are those women so attracted to bad guys all the time? Because they are in negativity. A lot of women are invested in negativity. So if you're invested in negativity, you will never get along with a good man. Because the intensity of the good man, which is healthy, scares you off. You get uncomfortable. But when you encounter a predator, because you're on the same frequency of field, you feel a click. And a lot of women today think that a click means confirmation, he's the one. But if you're in negativity with wrong ways of thinking, lady, and you feel a click to a guy, that guy is not going to be good for you. Either it's going to be an effeminate guy that can't lead you, or it's going to be a guy that will be a predator and will end up beating you or killing you, or traffic you. So this magical click that a lot of women are looking for is bad news. Because a lot of women don't know how to deal with healthy masculinity, because they've been so brainwashed by thinking negative about men. So that's why, ladies, renew your mind. Learn how to be functional as a woman as God intended to be. So, Joanna, is this clear to you? All of this. And also the rest of you, it's all clear to you? Let me know. Let me wait till I get some answer. There's a little bit of a delay here, but I'll get your answers. Hold on. Okay, it's 100% clear. I'm happy with that. So, now you know why there are a lot of women out there who have difficulty finding a good male sex partner. Or, apart from sexual intercourse, they have a very hard time connecting with healthy males in the community. Why? Negative investment binds them to predators, and there's a match. But women who embrace femininity, there's no match with a predator. So a predator is going to get very uncomfortable when he's close to you. Some of you ladies went through this. You met this guy, you thought, oh, he likes me, let me go out with him, and suddenly the guy just walked away, or he stopped texting you. He just began to ignore you out of the blue. And now you think, what did I do wrong? You think, what did I do wrong? He just walked away from me. And you think, guys often are quite thirsty for sex. And now I was giving in to a guy, and the guy just stopped out of the blue. He just went away from me. Well, ladies, that's good news. Because this disconnect frightened him, and he just dropped you. Be happy with that. Don't go after him. Do not go after him. And the same for you guys. If a female escalates against your masculine intensity, it's not about dating, it's about daily life. If a female revolts against your masculine operation, let her walk, please. Even when the contact had nothing to do with dating, if she just escalates against you and just runs off, let her run, please. You're better off. Let me see if I miss anything. So, yes, the world's education is designed to bring negative charges in women. You know why? Because when women are negatively charged, predators have an easy time predating and exploiting all the females. And because women are naturally charged, they don't know how to relate to men in a healthy way. So maybe it's time to educate our girls to be feminine and to embrace it, instead of chasing compensation as feminism teaches them. And for you guys, once a female is a grown woman, you can't change her mindset. If she is a little baby or a toddler, you can change her. Once she's a grown woman, you can't change her, guys. If she's not willing to face herself and be healthy, drop her. Simple as that. Same as you ladies. If he's a grown man, you can't change him. If he's a baby boy, a baby toddler, you can change him. If not, there's no way you can do that. So, let me see. Is it all clear to you now what gravitational movements are on a collective and on an individual basis, and how this relates to human sexuality? One thing I need to explain here. You getting upset or angry or tired or fed up is just a symptom. Deal with the symptom immediately. Don't let this feeling of anger, being upset, sadness ever linger around. That's what people often do. They get upset and they justify being upset. Even if you're upset for the right reason, being upset is not a healthy thing for you. So deal with the situation once you know the symptom. That's what you do. That's why I said in the Old Testament, be angry and sin not. The moment becoming angry is a trigger. Something is triggered inside of you. Check what is triggered. If what's triggered, if you have wrong expectations and now you feel violated because your expectations are not met, it means there's something wrong with you that needs to be addressed. If someone else did something objectively wrong, you can be upset about it, then you do something about it to rectify the situation in a proper way. Deal with the root of what's going on. If you get upset or angry and you meditate on it and you linger in it, then you're generating danger in yourself and to other people. Now you're operating in the sin frequency, that low frequency of filth. That's why it says, be angry and sin not. And at some point, becoming angry happens seldom towards you because you're so operating in power that you already are quick to process things that happen. All right. That's it for now. Let me check if the camera is correct. Okay, for some reason, sometimes the camera doesn't go well. Okay. But anyway. Oh, Les, thanks for mentioning this. Les mentioned in the live chat, lack of male teachers, young males aren't taught how to be men. They're taught femininity by women, no offense to my sisters. In my country, 60-70 are female teachers. Okay? And that's the issue. Men, grown men, ought to be a model of imitation for younger males. You know what I mean? For boys. Because only a man can model manhood. A female cannot model manhood. She cannot because she's a female. So if you have a country where the majority of the teachers in school are females, the boys are taught to be like females. They become effeminate. And then you will likely end up with men like this, predators, or effeminate men negatively charged. But if you have healthy men modeling manhood, that's already impactful. So if boys grew up without a father in the household, them seeing healthy men at school, that's already a good impact on them. So if boys don't grow up with a father in the house, because the father left or the father died, whatever, seeing healthy men in the community is already a good thing. Now, I'm not saying that that's okay for them to have no father figure while growing up in household. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but if it happens that the father is not around, let those boys encounter healthy men in the community, at school, at the football club, or at church. That's why all men on the earth have the obligation to be healthy and to model manhood towards one another. No man is exempt from this. Every man on the earth is mandated by the Heavenly Father to operate in their manhood. That's why this promotion of sodomy that goes on right now is quite dangerous. I have nothing against people that are into sodomy, because I don't do hatred on this life, because I don't into aversion. However, I will not agree with it, because I don't see any benefit for it for the human species. As simple as that. The same way I don't see any benefit in people whoring around, being sexually affected, the same way I don't see anything good in going against your sexual design that God made. All right? Hold on, let me check the live chat again. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Indeed. And just like Les is saying, I focus on the boys now, but of course, um, girls need their dads too. Because, again, women are not magnetic. Okay? So they are driven by the magnetism of men. So girls need to learn early on what healthy masculinity is and how to recognize healthy men. And they learn that by having contact with their earthly fathers and male role models in the community. So male role models benefit both boys and girls. Now, men need motherly affection till around age 10, till the puberty. In the puberty, when they're sexually developing, it tries to come before them. Having this motherly affection as a little child teaches them to recognize healthy femininity later in life. Men who lacked proper motherly affection while growing up, they have difficulty recognizing healthy women. And they often have issues related to women also. So if that's you, go to therapy, don't blame yourself, but don't walk around with it. Be responsible, go into therapy, and so that you can get healed. If you're a female and you didn't have a proper male role model around, in the sense that you didn't have a proper father figure or brother figure around, as a female, it caused father issues or daddy issues in you. Just admit it, that you need help, and go to therapy, and you'll be healed. Don't blame yourself. Just be responsible and consider your own long-term well-being and those of those around you. All right. So okay. Are there any questions still about this topic? Because I'm at the end of the live stream now, and it's taken more than an hour, more than I intended. But okay. Are there any questions related to this topic now? I'll wait for 1 minute to get your questions. For those that have to leave, you can leave. But if you have questions, let me know right now. I'll go into it, and then I'll close down the live stream. Mm. Thanks, Suzanne. That's what this Heavenly Father's work in me. Praise Him for that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I didn't get any questions, so thank you all for being here. Please replay this live stream, download it, share with other people, instruct your children the way you see is best for you to instruct them. So you can use material from this teaching. I don't mind. Just keep on agreeing with Christ. And I'll see you next live stream. Be at peace.